Welcome to Pre-AP Bio. This is for the lesson on April 25th. The lesson today is nonvertebrate chordates. This is taken from your book in chapter 30-1. After the video, students will be able to do three things. Identify the characteristics that all chordates share. I think you can already do this. Explain what vertebrates are. Again, I think you know this already. And the new part here, describe the two groups of nonvertebrate chordates. Which group of organisms has a dorsal hollow nerve cord, a notochord, a postanal tail, and pharyngeal pouches at least sometime during their life? This is a question you might hear on Jeopardy! Certainly not one of life's burning questions. If this was a Jeopardy clue, what would be the answer or question that goes with this clue? You probably know it's chordates. All right, four characteristics of chordates here. Dorsal hollow nerve cord. Here they tell you that it's made of ectodermal tissue. You don't need to know that, but you might think it's interesting. Another characteristic is the notochord. This is below the dorsal hollow nerve cord, and in higher chordates, like vertebrates, it actually becomes the backbone that protects the nerve cord. Postanal tail and pharyngeal slits. In the lower chordates, it's used in gas exchange, and later on becomes part of the jaw and hearing in higher chordates. At least sometime in their lives, all chordates have, one more time, a dorsal hollow nerve cord, a notochord, pharyngeal pouches, and a tail that extends beyond the anus. Again, the group they belong to is phylum Chordata. We're already accumulating a little bit of vocabulary. You should be able to tell me what chordates are, what the notochord is, and what pharyngeal pouches are. This slide illustrates that amphibians belong to Chordata. Here's some more amphibians. Some of you may have been able to notice that not all of these amphibians are true amphibians. Some of them are amphibian mimics. Gives them an evolutionary advantage. Clearly that one in the middle and the bottom has the advantage of getting cheese because he's a mimic. All right, notochord, a long supporting rod that runs through the body just below the nerve cord. In many animals, the notochord becomes the vertebrae of the backbone. So that was one definition, notochord. Here's our phylum name again, Chordata. And now we have three of the subphyla of Chordata: Urochordata, Cephalochordata, and Vertebrata. Vertebrata, I think you know, has to do with animals that actually have vertebrae. And the two groups that you need to know for this lesson are Urochordata and Cephalochordata. This is a little aside for what's coming up. Here's our friend the cladogram, a evolutionary tree that shows the evolutionary relationships of the chordates. It's probably hard to see on your smartphones, but some of the derived characters here include feathers, milk, the waterproof egg, also called the amniotic egg, legs or forelegs, tetrapods, lungs, jaws, two sets of paired limbs, and a backbone. So we'll revisit this kind of picture in the textbook and in upcoming chapters. One more cladogram here. This one is sort of an overview of all of life. And you'll notice that you've studied plants. You've studied porifera, cnidaria, platyhelminthes. We're in the process of finishing up mollusks and echinoderms, and there's our chordata at the end. The two here that are deuterostomes are the echinoderms and chordates. All right, the protostomes have their own branch there. we will still have to go back this year and pick up Archaebacteria, Bacteria protists, and fungi. Whoops, I went the wrong way. There we go. Metazoan cladogram here. The word metazoan means animal. A metazoan is an animal. That's just a fancy word. We'll look at this in class. Don't pay any attention to it right now. All right, here's our different subphyla, Urochordata, Cephalochordata, and Vertebrata. Take the Vertebrata out because you know what they are. They have vertebrae, true vertebrates. So these two are the non-vertebrate chordates, the Urochordata and the Cephalochordata. The animal that we're going to talk about for Urochordata are tunicates, and for Cephalochordata, lanceolets. So you'll be responsible for knowing tunicates and lanceolets. All right, there's a tunic. I'm looking forward to seeing one of these tonight on Vikings. Here's a sort of earlier tunic, maybe a Roman tunic. This is much fancier than a toga. All right, here's a little girl in a colorful tunic, and many of the tunicates in the ocean are colored this lovely colored green. This one on this slide, however, has got a sort of a see-through tunic, kind of a clear tunic on the left. There's a cartoon drawing that shows what the adult tunicate would look like. And on the very right there in picture C is what a young sort of tadpole-like structure of a tunicate would look like. Tunicates, when they're adults, have two openings called siphons. These are filter feeders. One siphon allows water to come in, and one siphon allows water to go out. When they're disturbed, the siphons will actually squirt water. Sea squirts get their name from this. Sea squirts can reproduce asexually by budding or sexually by means of eggs and sperm. The larvae are free swimming and tadpole shaped, but as adults they are sessile and they sit on the floor of the ocean. So again, our sea squirt here is a famous tunicate. Here's some pictures of sea squirts, and here you get a little bit of a feeling for their color. There's some bright green ones down here. They have this second layer of tissue or tunicate around them. I like that little blue one on the left where you can almost see eyes. And of course the bottom one there is a little baby tunicate. Let's take a look at this video. You know what, I'm not sure it's playing on their screen. Let's see. I have no idea. Okay, we're going to make it smaller, and I'm going to carry it over here, because this is basically screen capture. We'll see if you've... Great. This is not working, is it? Oh, come on over here. Oh, can't do it. Okay, well, let's see what happens. Okay, so much for that. This is not going forward. Great. This is like terrible. Escape. Get out of there. Go to the next slide. There. Okay, lanceolets. These are the Cephalochordata. They get the cephalo prefix from the word meaning head, and these guys do look a little bit like they have a head. Again, they look a little bit like our prototypic chordate with the notochord and the nerve cord and the little tail and the pharyngeal gill slits. They do have some very strong muscles here which allow them to swim, and in fact these muscles are what pumps their closed circulatory system. They lack a heart, so the muscle movement alone is enough to move the blood throughout them. These lanceolets spend most of their time buried in the sand. They're found throughout the world, but in the United States they're usually found off the coast of Florida. They breathe through a pharynx and through their skin, so they have two ways to get a little bit of oxygen. And again, they are cephalized, meaning they sort of have a head region. So maybe you can consider the lancelets to be the more sophisticated of the non-vertebrate chordates. Here's an early chordate fossil. This was found in China, and it's much older than the Burgess Shale. I don't know anything about it, except it does look like the cartoon of a chordate. This is a YouTube channel. These two brothers have these videos called The Four Kingdoms, and many of them have to do with biology. They do have one for chordates. This particular one is pretty long. It's about 12 minutes, but you might want to see it. That concludes, more or less, our little PowerPoint here. Look over the notes that you have taken on this, or go back and take notes if you haven't already. Take a look at section assessment 30-1. You do not have to write the answers. You just have to be able to answer those. When you think you can do that, and you think you have all these little facts down, turn your notes into Mrs. Sabatelli, and she will give you your quiz. And after your quiz, you can work on something else.